You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode number 203.5, our Liberty Christian and Daleville regional previews with the Herald-Bulletin's Rob Hunt.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Well, Rob, this is kind of ho-hum for Liberty Christian. This is kind of the point of the tournament they expect to be, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is a team that they set their schedule up at the beginning of the year to get ready for this. They came within the width of a sneaker of getting to the state finals last year, and they fully expect to be there this year. They're back at the regional, looking for getting back to semi-state for the second straight year.
And it wasn't Anderson Prep at full strength. I understand that, but the way they dominated against two pretty good teams there in the final two rounds of the sectional shows that they're going to be awfully tough to beat in this postseason.
Yeah, they, I get that. Yeah, APA was missing one of their players, but that's how it goes. I mean,
Right.
Liberty didn't have their best player early in the year, and APA almost won the game. So, Liberty, I think, showed that they are by far the better team. Certainly more postseason success, so that breeds some confidence in them. So, no surprise to see them not just win, but took care of business. I think they went into that game, took it seriously because they knew it was a close game the first time around. They did not want that again. They wanted to take care of business, and they did.
Any concern heading into Saturday? I'm sure you've been talking with the Lions. Any concern about overlooking a team? I know it's a regional. It's hard to imagine a team overlooking a regional, but they are such big favorites in this game. Any fear of that?
No, I don't think so. I think I spoke with Coach Anderson earlier in the week, and they're taking this game. It's one game at a time. It's not like the old regional format where you had to win two games in one day. So maybe you were preparing a little bit for who you might see in the second game of the day. This is winner take all. They've got to get ready for North Decatur. They can't pay attention to what the computers say because the computers are wrong from time to time. Ask about the next team we're going to talk about what they think about the computer rankings.
Yeah,
so
good point.
So I think they're going to take this game seriously. I think they have a game plan to go after to attack North Decatur's strength, which is on the interior, and Liberty has a serious advantage that they can exploit.
But we totally expect to see them at the semi-state next week.
Yeah, I think so. I think Liberty's got the balance. We forget that they are sophomores, so they're still very young, but boy, they're experienced. I mean, as freshmen, Kendrick Martin, TJ English, and Tywayne Fuller, as freshmen last year, they took this team to the brink of going to the state finals. They're hungry. They want to get back. They're very mature. They're so talented, athletic, and I think the big key is speed. They're going to want to get up and down the court. Amarian Page is one of the seniors on this team, and he could be key in this game because North Decatur's strength is a kid named Brady Maurer, and he's 6'6", 270, built like a football player. Averages about 12 points a game and 5 rebounds a game. I think you're going to see Liberty really. I mean, I think they want to play that way anyway, but you're really going to see them push tempo. I think Anderson says that. Coach Anderson said that if Marion Page gets a lot of layups in transition, it could be a good day for Liberty Christian.
And it should be. They everybody talks about the sophomores, obviously, but they've got a lot of contributions from the older kids too.
Yeah, and Marion Page is certainly one of them. He's got some length on the inside. Lanky kid who's really athletic and can has some speed. Is a really good shot blocker. Averages about one of those a game. Scores about 8 points. Grabs about 5 boards a game. And so I don't know if he's not going to push this Maurer kid around, but he's going to beat him up and down the court. I don't think that's a question. And the other one is Christian Townsend, a kid who just transferred prior to the start of the year from Anderson. really good three-point shooter. Didn't show up and want to take over the team. He's slotted in. He scores about 8 a game. He hits the threes when they need him. He's going to provide. He's kind of soft-spoken, but he's going to provide some of that senior stability that you look for on a team that's it's led by some young kids.
And I think we'll have plenty to talk about next week with Liberty, hopefully. Again, I think you talked about the computers. It should be a 20-plus point win, but we'll see. That's why they play the games. Your other one,
Yeah, we'll
though.
see. Who knows what happens when high school kids put the uniform on. We've learned that time and again. But I've come to this team. Don't overlook the schedule that Norm Anderson puts together for this team.
Right.
You look up and down their schedule. They're playing 3A and 4A talent, good 3A and 4A teams, not just whoever. I mean, they play a tough
Brownsburg.
schedule. Yeah, exactly. So this is a team that's faced really good teams, and I know North Decatur plays a pretty good schedule too. But I would definitely give Liberty the advantage here.
I'm guessing that North Decatur doesn't play anybody like Anderson, and they played him twice. So, I think that's another advantage for the Lions.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about the other game, and that is the Daleville Broncos. Came out of what was considered a balanced sectional. Turned out to be the
Mhm.
case for sure. They are playing awfully well, but they're also playing a team that's also playing really well and beat them by 20 points earlier in the year.
Mhm.
A Mid-Eastern Conference rival in Monroe Central. A lot of great storylines heading into this one.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that's talking with these kids earlier in the week as well, one thing that gives this team confidence is when you look at it, Monroe Central is the third team out of 4 postseason games Daleville's played that beat Daleville earlier in the year.
That's a good point. I hadn't
And
thought of that.
and all 3 were early in the season before Hunter Sahina was playing. And it's not just, Sahina could score. I mean, he's an absolute scoring machine. He averages about 19 a game. Happened to hit for 42 in the regular season finale when I was there. So he can put it up. And it's not just his 19 points per game that's the difference. He's the backcourt mate with Noah Coleman, who's one of our best point guards in the area.
Right.
And what those 2 kids want to do is run up and down the court. They want to push tempo. They want to play fast, which is exactly what Coach Ashley Fouch wants to do. And that was one of the points they were making earlier this week was, yes, his production helps. There's no question about that. But the fact that it's not all on Noah to push the tempo, he's got help back there that can do that. And so that's a big difference. And the other thing is, well, just top to bottom on this roster, they are shooting the 3-point shot really well right now. Those 2 guys, Noah hit 6 of them in that sectional championship game, and I think it was 3 in about a minute and a half burst that kind of put Daleville over the top in that third quarter. So, but Hunter can hit those threes. Josh Wilson has hit a few here lately, and he's more of a rebounding guy. But he can step out, hit the 3, and then Cooper Sexton is a kid that has a lot of talent. He's the tallest kid on the team. He's about 6'2", 6'3", in that neighborhood. He's really talented, but he's been injured almost his entire career. So, he's missed a lot of time. He got some decent varsity minutes last year on a really good Daleville team, but has been healthy all the year this year, been very productive, had a big game in that championship, hit a couple threes, actually hit the go-ahead 3 that put Daleville on top to stay in that game. Yeah, there's a lot of things going very well for Daleville right now. I think they're playing better defense than they were earlier in the year. And I think that's just part of this, the growth of a team over the course of a season that, coaches want to see that, right? They talk about that all year, want to be playing our best in March. And I think that certainly has proven to be the case for the Broncos.
But that having been said, the team they're playing is awfully good, led by Easton Foster, one of the best players in that conference, and that's a really good conference. What do they do to slow him down?
Yeah, good luck. I mean, he hit him for 33 earlier in the year. And first things first, you got to stay away from that kind of a number. Are you going to stop a kid who averages 22 points a game? Probably not. Can you limit him? Can you make it difficult? Can you make him work really hard? Yeah, and I think that's the approach they take. And, Coach Fouch is a pretty good game planner. Certainly has been this postseason and has gotten this team to do what they need to do. That's a big. Having said all that, it's a big ask to slow Eastman down, or I'm sorry, Foster down. Um, he's another big kid. That's the thing these two teams have in common. They're playing against a team that has a 6'6" kid in the middle. And I think with Foster, you're looking at a much more athletic player. Uh, he averages a double-double, and he's going to be able to get up and down the court if needed, unlike I think what Liberty Christian is going to be dealing with. So this will be a tough ask. We'll see if Daleville can deal with him this time around.
It's a big ask, but as you said, it's a very well coached Daleville team who made history last week.
Yeah.
Kind of a surprise that it took this long.
Yeah, I think they were the misfortune of being in the same sectional with Liberty Christian the last couple of years. That Daleville team
Yeah.
last year was no joke. I mean, you look at Merrick Adams and Logan Newsom. I mean, that team, Logan Leach. I'm sorry, Coleman Newsom, Logan Leach were seniors on that team, and that was a team that could score. If that team, if the sectionals had been lined last year the way they were this year, Daleville would probably be the favorite against Monroe Central tomorrow, or I'm sorry, Saturday. So that's the thing is they were kind of blocked by Liberty in that section a little bit. I think Tri Central got their number a couple of years ago, but yeah, big shout out to Ashley Fouch, the first woman to ever coach a boys basketball sectional champion in Indiana. Obviously, the first to win both boys and girls sectional because she did the girls do the sectional a few years ago. Still looking for how many coaches have won both. I know there are a number, and
Jimmy Howell for sure.
Jimmy Howell's one for sure. So she's in very, very good company, regardless of how many others are on that list.
Yeah, not a ton, but it's a lot of men on the list. Congratulations to her for being the first woman. And again, I'm surprised it took this long for a woman to win a sectional in Indiana high school basketball.
Yeah, you don't see very many getting even hired.
I know.
Getting the
that
opportunity.
surprises
So
me too.
yeah, hopefully her success will lead to more opportunities because I don't think there's any. I don't think it's any different than a man coaching a girls basketball team, and we see that plenty. I mean, you know what I mean?
Nope.
She's done a phenomenal job there, and hopefully that opens up some doors for others to follow. So she don't want to talk about it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
She, and I told her, I said, well, Coach, this is what goes with being the first to be in. This is what happens when you're the first at being really good at something. So.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She would much rather talk about the kids on the team and
of course,
fellas playing for her. But she deserves all the attention and accolades she can get.
Thank you so much to Rob for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report once again. Love his passion for high school sports and appreciate him for coming on and talking to the Central Indiana sports listeners about high school sports. If you are interested in seeing the Central Indiana Sports Report continue to grow and thrive, please share these episodes with your friends and family. We thank you as always. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. Susie.